Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Or coming to you with a very specific 1v1 today on Company of Heroes 2. Today we have Zero playing as the United States Forces over here on the western side with Mechanized Company, Airborne Company, as well as Rifle Company. So shockingly, again, for the second time for 2 US games, there's no late game Pershing on the horizon. His opponent over here plays the OKW. It's Itaperuna, or maybe I'm saying completely wrong, but he's playing as the OKW, and he's got Special Operations. He's got Scavenge, and naturally he's got a Breakthrough Doctrine. Now, the map itself is Westwall, which is pretty much why I picked this map up, so I could not tell you for the life of me how well this is going to go. Suffice to say, I have a little bit of a soft spot in my heart for this particular map, just because it's so deliciously kind of divided with these dragon's teeth right along the 50-yard line. Now, Itaperuna starting off with a Kubelwagen Volksgrenadier opening, and Zero surprisingly going up with a 2 rear echelon opening instead. The Germans are going to pick up their fuel probably a couple of seconds just before the Americans? No, it looks like a couple of seconds just after that. Thank you, early rear echelons. But we will see probably some pressure being applied with this Kubelwagen soon enough. That would cause a little bit of an issue for these capturing rear echelons. Now, we do want to see that there are a couple of Luke's bulletins on in here, so we might see some light vehicle action from the OKW. I'd like to see that. The Luke's does not get anywhere near enough love as it deserves, and I would just love the Luke's to see the light of this match. Now the Volksgrenadier coming on out, and just to continue the whole through the early kind of territory grab, Germans taking the munitions point, and both players very efficiently moving throughout the map. Though we are going to see the Germans take a slight resource advantage for the moment, until now the Americans pick up another strategic point. What's more, how the heck do the Germans have a munitions lead as much as they do? 37 to 26. Okay, well that cuts it right there. Never mind. So the 2 munitions are going to be, yep, it's going to be a perfect 50-50 split between the combatants today. Now, rear echelons are going to throw down some barbed wire just outside this garrison here, and that can be a bit of a problem for both sides depending on who comes around that fence here to the south. Well, what's more though, this Kubelwagen, despite being good against rear echelons, is gonna, if it takes on 2 squads at the same time, well, that's not going to go well. And you can see him backing away as a number of American and German squads meet up in the center part of the map here. So despite the fact though that the rear echelons had a perfect opportunity to pick up this southern VP, instead they find themselves looking to take a German territory while the Germans take a second VP in the middle part of the map. The Kubelwagen is still suffering badly, but against these rear echelons here, with the assistance of the Volksgrenadiers, they hold the line rather well. Germans lose a bunch of the munitions points, but as do the Americans. The Germans going to be more precise, just taking the munitions for themselves. And a 50-50 map is starting to get a little bit kind of strangely colored here, as the Germans have to kind of go in and out through kind of small patches of American-held territory. Itaperuna, though, in the meantime, is going for a very heavy Tier 1 build, going for a 4th squad of Volksgrenadiers. And when Zero decides to go for that Rifle Company, we're going to see Easy 8s later on. We're going to see ourselves some flamethrowers. Excuse me, not Flammenwerfers. We're Americans, after all, goddammit. No, we're not going to see that. And indeed, Itaperuna is not paying attention over here. He needs to back up right now. There he goes. He's backing away. But the refurbished Kubelwagen coming on down to the south as Volksgrenadiers begin to try to hold the line against the Americans to the north. And I don't know if this is really the best option to kind of continue to run on forwards here. If this Kubelwagen was brave enough to just brave the rifle fire that would be coming on out. But no, the Volksgrenadiers are going to come in behind. Nope, and the Americans just cap just enough to cause an issue and then back away. In the meantime, though, well, there usually are bats in the belfry, but here there are Germans. It's Krauts galore. 3 guys in the bell tower, 2 down below. And with these rear echelons having that M2 flamethrower, that is, garrison is not going to be a great place to be. In fact, usually it's the Germans spitting fire and flames everywhere, but no, in this case it's the Americans. And this Volksgrenadier squad's going to go down. There he goes. So first loss over here for in favor of the Americans. They also pick up a captain. So not quite playing meta, which I'm pretty happy to see. But I think we're going to see ourselves a mech regiment pretty darn quick. Fairly advanced at that. Jeez, good lord. Germans, though, refused to give up all their hard-won territory. M2 flamethrower, though, is going to come up, and that might cause a bit of an issue. No, they're out of range and charging on in. This is not where you want to be. Especially when STGs come up towards you. Yeah, and indeed, there they go. And no, it's not a battle group, mech regiment, it's a battle group headquarters. Americans, in the meantime, losing. An M2 flamethrower being lost. So a very, very aggressive battle group headquarters coming up from Itaperuna, and wow. Zero's complaining somewhat, but we will see that the Americans are being played rather fairly, and neither player really getting too much of an advantage early on. 2-0 cap, 500 to 417. The Americans are really kind of the reasons that they're not getting this. Zero's getting pushed back quite a bit here. Volkswagen is facing off against the captain, and yeah. It was a wet noodle contest for the time being. Maybe an occasional model gets dropped like that one right there, but other than that, no real big deal there. Germans, in the meantime, bringing in a Rakettenwerfer, anticipating a push from a Steward. Instead, we're just going to see another rear echelon coming on out. And the Americans have no real way to pick up any more fuel. They are pushing down to the south, if I can be able to push back the Kubelwagen. But without a munition supply, an incredible munition supply, and without a consistent way of doing high amounts of damage to that Kubelwagen very, very quickly, well, the Americans are kind of stuck. Not quite base locked, but they're going to be paying with blood for every single inch of territory they want to take. Church gets reclaimed somewhat. The M2 flamethrower kind of moseys down to the south. Rakettenwerfer called back. Instead, nope, it's going to be a forward retreat point being utilized here. And I'm thinking, honestly, that's probably a better call, all things considered. Unfortunately, I don't think with the fuel advantage that we have right now that Itaperuna is going to turn back around and pick up a mech regiment instead. That would kind of be a silly idea. It'd make much more sense just to pick up that Schwerpanzer headquarters. And not quite getting it just yet, even though he has more than enough resources to do so. Instead, Germans are holding strong, taking fire from multiple sources here. And indeed, as this rear echelon squad comes on in, they need to really kind of focus fire on them. They're not going to do that. Nope. Instead, it's going to be the Americans putting down sheets of flame. Finally get pushed in the back that squad for the moment. But now just leaves one squad after one squad getting kind of butchered here. Aggressed on like crazy. Luckily for them, there's no pineapple. And instead, it's going to be the Germans throwing out some fire and flame. What's more, with that very advanced retreat point, the Americans cannot keep up the pressure. While the Germans can run back 5 meters. Yes, because they're German after all. We're not talking about feet here. And then they can run back into the garbage. I would call it a much more harsh word, but I've already sworn a couple times in this video already, and I prefer to keep it as clean as possible for our younger viewers out there. In any case, or if nobody else, I mean, Dan Williams out there. Good God, that poor guy, he has virgin ears, my friend. Virgin ears indeed. Schumann is still out here, and another one going on down. It's really just lucky that the Americans haven't stumbled across that already. And Itaperuna just continues to have an incredible advantage here. Now, I am curious to see why he's not calling in. There we go, well, another Rakettenwerfer. And why he's not calling in an actual SWS. Schwerer Wehrmachtschlepper. I can never say that consistently. It's a curse. What's going to do is going to show up right next to guys with flamethrowers. It's not going to go well for them. Shockingly, he decides to give them a little bit of safety. Doesn't really go and drop down that flame. Instead, nope, there we go. Finally falling back. Carla Ho. Don't know what that means, but it can't be good for the Germans, I'm sure. Victorious cries of some sort being called on in. And incendiary grenade throwing on out, trying to make sure these riflemen don't go back into that garrison. Good call right there. And Volk's going to just put pressure on the 57 mil. Lieutenant being back-teched into, and kind of a weird call right there. But these poor riflemen do run over that shoe mine, and still manage to push back the Volk's going to do this by sheer weight of numbers. Stern Pioneers hold the line for a couple of seconds here, gaining a good bit of veterancy, but they're getting chewed up. They got to back away. And there they go. First SDGs are coming on out from these Volkswagen as well. And Itaperuna coming in with an MG34. So strange call there. He's up so much right now already. Again, complete the tech. And this is something that most players I don't think really kind of utilize too much. Is that if you're ahead and you know you're ahead, keep pushing that advantage, my friend. Tech higher, tech more. Don't try to match your enemy where he's strong, where you are relatively weak by comparison. MT-34 comes on in. And these Volksgrenadiers down to the south are going to try to face off against a flamethrower and rifleman. Had it just been the rifleman, they might have had a chance. That flamethrower, though, makes it a little bit difficult, and the proof is in the pudding right now. Americans, in the meantime, are pushing back right on top of this battle group headquarters, and they have to be lucky right now that the 57 mil isn't anywhere near this, because he could just shell that thing into pieces. And it looks like it's just going to be how quickly can that MG-34 get up here. And there goes a Volksgrenadier unit. Yes, a Volksgrenadier unit goes on down. It's down to the south, though. Retreat travando diretto. So I think it might be between two Italian players here or something. A couple of losses going right there. Germans, in the meantime, while they do have this weight of fire down here in the center part of the map, and he's up 250 tickets, really shouldn't be anywhere close right now. STG's Shrimp Pioneer is getting forced back, though. Lieutenant, though, additionally gets pushed, and there's no M2HB covering the middle of this just yet. And finally, at long last, we are going to see a Schwerpanzer headquarters. He knows his opponent is back-teched, and he knows he's had a ton of fuel up on this already, so he really could rush for a late-game tank. In fact, that'd be the right call. The Germans do lose their perfect victory, though. One ticket has already dropped off of their coffers. And oddly enough, the Americans, despite being not base-locked, but getting pressured quite heavily for so long, have an army size advantage. Pack Howard is going to be called on in. An interesting call to be sure, and probably the right one, all things considered. Just start shelling all this nonsense over here. And what's more, this nonsense back here is even more deadly, I would say. But for the moment, just more shoe mines going on down, and a SWS coming just to the north. Okay, weird call. If he drops it right about here, that could be okay, but there's still that little bit of a hill that can cause some issues. So more shoe mines going on down. Germans continue to work with a very, very small contingent of troops. 57 mil is in the area, but he might get decrewed. There we go. And unfortunately for this 50 cal, he's technically pinned right now, but he still gets a couple of bursts off, and somehow manages to pin in turn those poor Volksgrenadiers. I would really like to see a more aggressive placement from this. Heck, I mean, maybe not too... This is too aggressive up here, but even putting closer to the middle VP. Shoe mine! And this MG-34 should be able to do enough suppression. No, he's not going to do enough to actually pin them. And here comes with the rally on me thing. Yep, on me. And another rifle grenade going out against that Kubelwagen. But the riflemen not really doing a whole lot despite having all that extra pressure. So 499 to 224. They will decap that 2-to-1 cap away from the Germans. But we should be able to see a P4 coming in pretty much whenever Itaperuna wants to get it. Riflemen, though, taking devastating losses. And let's not forget that a rear echelon squad has already gone on down. Now, where are you shooting from? Wow, he should not be having that kind of range, should he? Oh well. Well, it does mean, though, in the meantime, though, that these Germans are going to hold the line against all this mess that's right here. And for some reason, these riflemen charging on into... What? Why? Curious decision. STG Sturmpio's continuing to do work. M2HB should be able to force them on back, though, if they get one or two bursts off. And indeed, they don't... So, they could have gotten outside that arc of fire. It does not happen, though. And indeed, we will find troop after troop. It's just getting pinned like crazy. And there we go. We're actually going to see Special Operations Doctrine. So, that grenade assault is so much fun to see. And unfortunately, getting blown to pieces by the Pack Howitzer. If they're brave, they should pick it up right now, because the Americans have a big, big army advantage. Army size advantage. What the heck? Apparently, I'm not sure what they were doing. Playing curling with American lives, apparently. And this poor guy's going on down. Destroyed engine. That's a big wreck right there. Engine 34 gets picked back up. Now the P4 comes out, and the question is, how good can this P4 do, or how well can this P4 do against this American Legion? Now, 499 to 205, another mine going on off here, forcing down this captain to just 2 models, and he keeps hitting it. Luckily for him, he doesn't hit another one. So would take that final model. Germans, though, holding the line pretty darn strong, despite having a shrunken army by comparison. P4 coming on in, this guy's coming behind these riflemen as they pick on the Volksgrenadiers. Problem is that Zero's got more than enough munitions to toss out rifle grenades by the score, and he's got that 57 mil in the area. So this P4, well, he's got to be a little bit more cautious, I would say. He's not going to be cautious. MG34 gets caught on up. Where the heck is that guy? Poor guy. He's falling back to base. And these Sturm Pioneers are going to get wrecked by 2 rifleman squads to get it back up as well. So Itaperuna might be giving up his success here. Yep, there goes the Sturm Pioneers. P4 comes in just to put a couple rounds in. Doesn't even take out the ambo. Where I'd be focusing on this squad right here. But nope. Nope. Instead, he's going to focus on this pack howitzer. A strange call. A very strange call. And Itaperuna backs away with his B4. Now he's at the all such incredible amount of fuel. He should just call in Mech Regiment now, but he should have called in this bad boy about 3 minutes before he did. And I don't speak Italian, so a bit of a problem here. Lost in translation, that's for darn sure. As for Kattenwerfer, just kind of wanders around without anything to really do. Oh well. Veterancy-wise, the Germans have taken some significant losses here, and controlled by an Italian, I'm a little bit concerned by that. It's almost like they're taking vengeance for the war itself. And this P4, well, he hasn't had any TLC, and he's not going to get any TLC for a bit of time. I'm also surprised that this guy, he's finally getting that Zook, the single Zook. But getting back to veterancy, so the Germans have 8 stars of veterancy total. They've lost a lot of squads recently, and assault grenades going on out. Captain's going to get whooped here. Unlucky that the first grenades landed so far forward that you got a model, and that just kind of really determined where all the entire assault went down. And see, that's that natural brouhaha I'm talking about. See the little bit of the curvature to the earth? Yeah, there's a hill there. And it heavily mitigates the amount of firepower that you can do as that Schwerpanzer headquarters. But despite the fact that he's diluting his power, and despite the fact that he's heavily outvetted by the Americans don't seem too keen on pushing forward. So Obersoldaten being called on in, and these guys can get those LMGs and be a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, that would require being actually engaged by the enemy force. Germans, in the meantime, pick up a point or two. Americans finally take it back to the south, decapping and recapping for themselves. But the Germans, well, the Germans don't really feel a need to be too aggressive, and I can't really say that I blame them. M2HB, though, is in the center part of the field, and all it would take is just one sweep by a model or two, or a squad or two of Germans. But this pack howitzer is going to do some good damage. I don't think the Americans are ready for that. P4 coming on in, though, and, excuse me, the Germans aren't ready for that, but the P4 coming on in behind some of the bad tension here. Rifle grenade, yep, rifle grenade coming on out, but STG, Gren, the Shrub Pioneer is doing some good work, I would say. And we've gotten rifle getting shredded. And therein was the problem with keeping your Schwerpanzer headquarters so far back. Yes, you're not going to take that much in the way of hits overall. but neither are you going to get a very good position out of it. M2 going down. Volkswagen go down. Those are actually very good Grens. So now we just have 3 stars of veterancy. That's it. So Itaperuna has completely diluted all of his strength here. And 57mm apparently got taken out as well. Good gosh. A rush by the STGs did well. Pack Howie gets taken on out as well. So losses across the board. 493 to 108. Germans lost a couple of points here and there. Not that that's going to last. And finally, at long last, a major comes on out. And Zero should be calling in a Sherman pretty quickly, I would think. He's got the manpower. He should have the fuel. Yeah, he's got all of it. And Itaperuna in the meantime to kind of continue to waste a little bit of time here. Is he going for that Panther command tank, I guess? And Obo's throwing on out that Gabaltaledo. Well, excuse me, bundle grenade, but that's pretty much what it is.
Enemy down to 100 points.
So not going to be a Sherman. Looks like it's going to be a Jackson, I believe. Yep. No, Easy 8. Oh my god. Forgot about that. So we are rocking that Rifle Company, which means that we will see Easy 8 coming in, and that's going to be more than enough to take out this P4. But Captain Buffer might be able to keep him at bay. But it'd be even better to pick up this anti-tank gun, but I don't think that's going to happen. Itaperuna desperately wants to bring in that Panther command tank. That'll be enough to match up well with the Easy 8. But really missing out on an opportunity here. And the captain somehow managed to get the N2 flamethrower from the ground as well. Pineapple coming on out. That's going to do a ton of damage. Yeah. Wow. I'll drop 4 models for like 7 of my opponent any day. Wow, that was an incredible amount of damage being done. 22 minutes in, 493 to 86. Another P4 being called in, so for some reason Itaperuna not going to double down. And this is one of the few times I would say it would have been better just to pick up the Panther command tank. And now there's 57 mils back on the field, that's a problem. And the Easy 8 will just start to shred the German infantry, given half the chance. Now, the one small bit of happiness for the Germans is that this Easy 8 doesn't get the choice between HE and AP. So HE, of course, is a massive infantry killer, and the AP would have been much better against vehicles. And this guy, well, I don't know if it's the weight of the barrel or just the game developers thought that'd be too broken. But we are not going to see any kind of HE ammo being utilized here, so that's lucky right there for the Germans. Assault grenades going on out, but not doing a whole lot, and indeed, the Easy 8 just blew away all the cover for both sides there. And for some reason, these guys are charging on forwards. Not the best call to go against a tank with an LMG, no matter how big their cojones might be. That's not a good idea, and indeed, they're getting shredded by everything. They would probably get picked off here. Easy 8 establishing why he is such a dominant killer on this field, though. It takes the Rakettenwerfer for dropping a couple of rounds into him before he even does any damage. And 57mm gets into action. I discovered recently, with the thanks of Rangru out there, he's a guy who works out with me a lot on Steel Division, that the 57mm technically was a 6-pounder, but for just some strange reason, the Brits decided just to call it a 6-pounder as opposed to what it was, a 57mm cannon. Main gun destroyed, so expect to see 1 death right here. That's 1 gone. Will the return shot take him out, though? No, it pings off the front armor. It does a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill. And 14 kills in. This is the vetted up, call it P4. In my mind, it might have been better to kind of do combat blitz in. 57mm seems to see him pretty well. Hyper shot? Yeah, he's using that hyper shot. But where are we now? So, we did have the whole little flares coming on out, and I would like to see instead the infrared STGs being put on Obosoldaten as opposed to the LMGs. Regrettably, it's not my call. And I'm sent to the tank. Tank is back near home base. I cannot find the tank. There we go. I do love that mechanic from the US. I don't play the US very often, but I do love that mechanic from them. But at long last, despite the fact that the Germans have just crushed the American hopes and dreams for so long and are missing out on a flamethrower right here, Germans are losing tickets, finally. They're still up over 400 of them, though that advantage will begin to spill out a little bit. Bundle grenade going to miss, and the Obers are going to suffer in relative. Yeah, they're not moving. That's a silly choice. But this rifleman squad, despite the fact that they picked up the M2 flamethrower dropped by the captain, which has now been passed from group to group, it's very much a cursed support weapon, it looks like. It's still in American hands, and Itaperuna seems to be able to use small squads or smaller sides of units very effectively. Zero blobs up a little bit more, it does seem, but Itaperuna definitely suffering greatly as the army sizes increase here. Not able to keep anywhere near the same kind of awareness that he did earlier on. So, seeing those flares coming on down. And these guys looking to desperately fix up the rest of their Easy 8 here. Ooh, and somehow they dropped the 57 mil. Okay, so now this screams to me, pick up this stupid gun. Pick up the gun. That was silly. I would pick that up in a heartbeat and run with that thing. If your guys die, then and only then should you destroy that particular piece of equipment. The Schumann being going down? Yeah. P4 forced to give ground though, and all this machine gun fire. Yep, Captain's doing a good amount of work to do some damage against the P4. And God help me, yep, the Obasodat went down. So Itaperuna, I think, now is going to go for that Panther Command Tank, which is a little bit late. Should have gone for that before his opponent started bringing in all this extra stuff. This poor guy's going to get butchered. Yep. So Itaperuna might have lost it here. More out of his own, I would say, silliness than anything else. Nope, instead he makes a Panther instead of just calls in the... There we go. Main gun destroyed over here, that's a problem. But that Panther Command Tank might be enough. Might be enough just to hold the line for a little bit longer. MG-34 trying desperately to push back whatever remains of this charging American force. These guys are still tons and tons of veterancy here. And the Panther Command Tank comes on in. Should be utilizing vehicles only. Does he? Take the shot. There we go. Main gun destroyed. He could pressure after that and definitely pick him on up. The rear armor hits here as well, so a lot of issues going on out here. So it doesn't seem to matter who is in an armored vehicle. It just seems to be causing issues on both sides. Rifle grenades, more rifle grenades. There's another one, so rear armor hit there. Zook comes on in, he's going to cause some more damage. And Itaperuna, again, I had such respect for him early on in this game, but now he's just causing me just to forget all of it. P4 lumbers back in towards the front. I think he's just trying to pressure back this captain just barely enough here. And one shot blows apart one model, but more rifle grenades might be on the order here. One more. Yep, one more. He loses his last munitions on a rifle grenade. Tickles it again. P4 needs to charge. Nope, we're not going to see it. Rakettenwerfer for getting picked up, and that's a mistake as well from the Germans to allow that to happen. And this Panther Command Tank, I think, will in fact die by being annoyed to death by this gnat. No, last round impacts and it just doesn't happen. Instead, one guy gets turned into mush. And that was a complete shambles. Wow. Does he make this guy pay with his life? Yes, he does, but now there's a Jackson in his rear. Oh, that thing does incredible amounts of damage, and the Germans have just 4 squads left. They could have made a Königstiege on this map a long stinking time ago. Heck, this could have been picked up a long stinking time ago. This could have been picked up a long stinking time ago. Itaperuna is starting to hemorrhage units here and there. MG, engage. No engage. No engage. And these Volksgrenadiers are going to hold out just long enough to kind of rip this position for a couple of seconds. And finally, Obersoldaten being called on in. And again, STG-44, infrareds, these things are great. Use them. For the love of Bob, use them. Okay, well, Easy 8 coming right back in, and I think this is the death of the P4. Might be the death of Itaperuna's hopes on the dreams on this map. No, shockingly enough, he continues to survive. I don't know how. PQP. Anyone out there who speaks Italian, please let me know what that means. Triple cap now for the US, and what had been practically a guaranteed German victory has been frittered away and frittered away. Until now, Battle Group Headquarters is getting blown to pieces. They're getting LMGs instead. And this is just a complete and total wreck. This should not be happening at this point. P4 charging on in, trying to engage the Jackson. And frittering away more of his munitions. STGs. Excuse me. Obersoldaten, not STGs. Obersoldaten bleeding manpower away. 40 per every model. These guys are expensive, man. And not sure why this Mercantile buffer is so close. It's like he's gifting it right back to the Germans. Don't know what's going on here. And Pineapple going on into this house. So, ouch. More damage being done there. And it looks like this flamethrower, it might be enough to take out this house. No, looks like instead it's going to be, I was going to say a dead rifle squad, but no, not even that. And Itaperuna just loses this game now. Segunda mina, don't know what that means. Oh, it's so many mines. Me, Kagyo, no idea. But a 5-star P4 here. Clearly, this was an Italian revenge fantasy to make the Germans lose on the Westwall. Now Itaperuna's got just 3 squads. Now Zero's lost an absolute ridiculous amount as well. But Itaperuna kind of deserves to lose this at this point. He really kind of does. Jackson does go down. But, you know, that's a minor victory at this point. Faust comes in. Whoop-de-doo. Grenade assault on somebody? No. Yes. 2 whole grenades. Oh, no, never mind. Going for incendiary rounds.
Mobile command vehicle has been dispatched.
Or does Itaperuna somehow come back to this? I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. This game has gone completely sideways at the last bit of this. What's more, there should be one of these bad boys coming on in. Heck, wait for this. Bring in the Jagdpanzer, that's all you need. Bring in the Jagdpanzer, take out the EZ-8. The gun will actually penetrate for a change. But no, Itaperuna, I think, is going to call it quits here. Oh, dear God. So after 33 minutes, Itaperuna blows it and is going to drop out of here. Making the end score, what, about 63 to about, I guess, 308, 309? Good night, he says, and that is going to be it. That's going to be it. So 33 is the entire way across. End score 63 to 308. 0 wins by surrender. An unlikely win, to put it mildly. And Itaperuna could have won that, should have won that, didn't win that. He blew it there. Biggest mistake, not teching up. So, just a repetition of what I said before. If you're ahead of your opponent, vet up. If you're going to tech up, do whatever you can to continue to push that advantage. Don't sit back and relax. Regrettably, it didn't happen today with our OKW player. But you know what? It can't always come at Millhouse. So, with a fond adieu, or ciao, more appropriately to Itaperuna, congratulations to Zero for sticking it out and moving on in with those easy 8s. Folks, that's going to be it for me today. If you have a game you want me to check out, whether it's Company of Heroes or otherwise, email me at conorgaming@gmail.com. And if you haven't yet checked out my Twitch channel, well, we are running XCOM 2 War of the Chosen over there. We're going to be doing some Steel Division as well, and new DLCs dropping. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys stop on by. It's a small community so far. Keep an eye out, though, for some bigger moves happening soon. You guys all have a great day. This is Conal Works signing off. Take it easy.